It's me, Lisa McCurdy, and welcome to my true crime podcast, She Raven, where I talk about all things true crime, all things horror, just, weird stories and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I'll just go ahead and I'll update as periodically as I can. And I also just like to do little motivational videos also. So if you're interested in any of that, please go ahead and like and subscribe. I forgot to say that with my first two podcasts. I'm still new. But I know that's like really big in the whole YouTube world, liking and subscribing. So please go ahead and like and subscribe. And when I upload something, you'll be notified immediately, and that'll be kind of cool because then you can kind of follow me through this journey. And we can just talk about these stories together. I'm a storyteller, and I love talking about those kind of things. So, and if you notice, I've got one super cool glove today and one hand that doesn't have a glove. And I do have the extra glove. It's just that I need this finger to get into my phone for something, or at least at the moment. So, anyways, enough about that. My glove fell. Enough about that. So, I wanted to talk today about the Lemurians. So the Lemurians are like an ancient civilization, and the reason I wanted to talk about it is actually twofold. A couple weeks ago, I had this really odd dream. It's so strange, but it wasn't even a couple weeks ago. It's a couple months ago. I had this dream, and I dreamt that I had fallen asleep, or I had fallen, something like that. And when I awoke, I was in like a mall area. And I'm in this mall, and I start looking around, and I realize like, this isn't the normal mall. I start looking at the people that are there, and it was like aliens, alien beings. And no, it wasn't alien beings like, the big head and, weirdness. Well, it was a little bit weird, but I just knew that these people weren't human. They were just different forms of them. Kids with, their mothers and their parents and just walking around. And I remember thinking, where am I? And there was an elevator, and I tried to take this elevator, and I figured, okay, well, I know I'm in a different dimension or a different place. And I took this elevator, and I could not get out. Like the elevator was like internal. And I just thought, this is so odd. I have to get out of here. No one was trying to hurt me. No one's helping me either. But it was just the weirdest dream. And then, eventually I woke up, or I probably had an additional dream or something like that. I dream every single night. Every single night. And I'm not talking about just one dream. I have multiple dreams throughout the night. So it kind of reminded me of the story of the Lemurians. I have met somebody, and she believed in the Lemurians, and I'd seen it on her Facebook reference to them, and I looked it up at that time, and I just kind of researched it at that time, way before even my little podcasting days. I sort of looked it up, and I learned about the Lemurians, at least a little bit about the Lemurians, and I thought, this is so fascinating. I mean, it's so fascinating. And part of the reason I thought it was fascinating was because the Lemurians are an ancient civilization, and they're said to live at the moment in Mount Shasta, which is in Northern California. And I've been to Mount Shasta a million times. Well, maybe not a million, but I've been there a lot. And specifically, I go to the Mount Shasta area. I go to Wairika in California, and that's all in Northern California. So I go to Wairika, and then I also go to, of course, now the city's going to leave my mind, but I go over the border to Oregon, where, the kids have their aunt, Phoenix, yeah, Phoenix, Oregon. And that's all, very close in close proximity and things like that. So I just thought it was really interesting that these Lemurians, this ancient civilization, is supposed to be in the Mount Shasta area, the same area where My kids have gone, sledding and played in the snow, and I've been so many times. And when you're in that area, the mountain is always the backdrop. I mean, because, if you live anywhere where there's a mountain, the mountain is always the backdrop. You're always looking at this just breathtaking mountain. So you see it every single day. You see it multiple times a day. It centers everything that you're doing while you're there, even though you're not right in front of the mountain. It's ginormous. So I thought for my first non-crime related podcast, I wanted to talk about the Lemurians and Mount Shasta because it holds a special place in my heart. I love that mountain. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Go grab yourself some coffee, get relaxed, and let's learn about the Lemurians and this ancient civilization. So if you watched my first two podcasts, and I think with anybody, I've got my notes here, and let's go ahead and do this. So I'm first going to give a little history about Mount Shasta, because like I said, Mount Shasta is a mountain, but it's an actual volcano. So for anyone who may not live here, Mount Shasta is a volcano. So Mount Shasta is an active volcano that has erupted at least once per 800 years for the past 10,000 years, with an increased eruption frequency of about once per 250 years over the past 750 years. The region around Mount Shasta is susceptible to lava, avalanches, and earthquakes. Okay, that's Mount Shasta. But the region is gorgeous. It's got this, especially with me learning more about the Lemurians, it does. When you go there to like the city of Mount Shasta area, they embrace all of this, and it does have this eclectic, loving feel. It's like it's in the atmosphere. You can just feel it pressing down on you, and just the love, and you come out and you pump gas, or you just do something simple within that city right there, or any of the cities right there, and you're surrounded by just fantastic people, and all the love, and you feel it. It's very hippie-ish. That's what I've always thought. I've always thought this area is so eclectic. It's so hippie-ish. I would love to live there if I could afford those prices. And I do have this rock from years and years ago. I went to like the visitor center, just kind of stopped in, and they sell like the lava rocks, and they sell the crystals, and all of that. So really learning about this has been exciting for me, because I'm thinking, oh, now I get it. Now I get why everyone is on this different frequency when you walk in, and why you feel that that change. It's almost like that change in the air. So let's talk about the Lemurian race. So that's Mount Shasta. So, and a lot of people, they say that Mount Shasta is actually one of the most sacred places on the planet. There's, these stories have gone down through the centuries, from the Indians, and just over time, a lot of strange things have happened there. A lot of disappearances, a lot of UFO sightings, and things like that. So the Lemurian race was also around. These are higher level beings, so they're like on different frequencies than us, and obviously way more advanced than we are. I don't want to say than we'll ever be, but then we are, that we more advanced than we are at the moment. Let's put it that way, because I'm one of those people that believe that the brain has so many compartments to it, and so much we haven't unlocked in the human brain. So at this point, this civilization, they had unlocked a lot of that, and they were more advanced than we are now. They were also around during Atlantis, and now this is where the story comes in. They went to war with Atlantis, and as a result of that war with Atlantis, because Atlantis wanted to enslave lesser beings than themselves, the Atlanteans and the Lemurians. So they wanted to enslave anyone who they basically felt was below them, below both civilizations. And the Lemurians, they're just for love and peace and harmony. So they went into this, huge war with the Atlanteans, and that's where everything ended up going bad. And that's why the Lemurians are now living in Mount Shasta, or under the earth in Mount Shasta. So the Lemurian race actually came from beings from all over the universe. So different beings. So it's not like they were one specific race. Just different beings from all over the universe came together, living on Mother Earth, and intermingled and things like that. And then over the years, they became this one Lemurian race. And this was 4,500,000 BC years ago. They were said to be on the 5-dimensional frequency. So Lemuria was also called Toulouse. And again, like I said, right now it is it's told that they're still under Mount Shasta. And don't forget that Mount Shasta is an active volcano. It's not like some of the others at the moment. So I say that for this reason, because there are so many different dimensions underneath, all where the lava flows and stuff like that. So it's said that that this civilization is there. So Mount Shasta is also one of the largest mountain peaks in the US. Like I said, it's one of the most sacred places on the planet. And the Lemurians have basically developed a world within a world. So they've used this whole entire mountainside. They've used the tunnel systems that have been created within the mountainside. And just basically under Earth, they've created their own world once again, because they were having this war with Atlantis. They are said to be able to make themselves invisible. They are supposedly 6 to 7 feet tall. They are they don't, they have a look about them that would merge female and male. So they have like a gender neutral, I guess that would be probably the best word, look to them. So they do have male and female, but it's a gender neutral look. They don't age very quickly like we do. They don't wrinkle. Their skin is really nice. They're very beautiful people. They don't have much body hair. Very peaceful people. They're said to be able to make themselves invisible. They're said to be able to communicate without speaking. And through the years, there have been so many situations where people have encountered strange beings. There are so many accounts where they've encountered strange beings around the Mount Shasta area. And a lot of people think that these are either the Lemurians, or that these are UFOs from other planets, because Mount Shasta is supposedly an interdimensional port. The locals and people who have been to the area have said, they've seen strange lights, they've seen strange beings. All of these are unaccounted for, and they really can't explain it. So Mount Shasta is an intergalactic, interplanetary, multi-dimensional port. Yeah, say that 10 times fast. But it just basically means it's a hub. It's a UFO hub. And there's so many things and so many stories that have crossed through the Mount Shasta area, and just unexplainable events like I was saying before. Mount Shasta is also 14,000 feet above sea level. It's so high that it can create its own weather system up there. So, there's a lot going on. So there have been UFOs in Mount Shasta, disappearances, ghosts, and, some people even say, they've seen gods there. So Mount Shasta is a hot spot, the vacation hot spot. And like I said, it's gorgeous. The area around there is gorgeous, and I know that you can ski, you can play in the snow, you can just do all kinds of things. Back when years ago, the Indians used to call them sky people. So they're believing that all these stories that have gone on through the years and the decades, that all of these are coming back to being Lemurians. They're basically just a race of giants. Oh, let's see. So they're supposed to live through or live within Mount Shasta and under the earth. There are those networks of the lava tubes that I said that are just really big because lava was flowing through it. And I have to think before I say this, but it is supposed to be a crystal filled area with also lots of gold everywhere. So crystals are a big part of who they are. And if you follow the whole crystal community, I follow it very loosely, so don't come for me. I have a couple of crystals. I don't have oodles and oodles of crystals or anything like that. But some people believe that crystals are healing, that, you can have certain crystals for different healing properties. So that is supposed to come from the Lemurians, that they have special information and special properties that they've given these crystals because they're magical beings. And I don't want to necessarily say magical, but they've connected into these higher levels and higher levels of thinking, and opened their brains into higher levels and just higher dimensional beings and stuff like that. So crystals are a really big part of who they are and what they believe. So yeah, there's also been skeletal remains found in the Mount Shasta area of people that are 7 feet, 10 feet. These are skeletons, so they're thinking, okay, well, we have some proof of their existence during some time, or at least of someone who's really, really tall, that kind of thing. Mount Shasta is number 13 on the top places for sightings for UFOs. So number 13, that's pretty up there. I mean, it's not top 10, so that's probably something I'm going to look into too, to kind of see, what are the 100% top places. But number 13. A lot of people also believe that Mount Shasta is hiding an energy vortex, and that vortex is the way these different beings, not just the Lemurians, come and go. And that's why there's so many different types of UFO sightings and unexplained sightings, because these beings are so far advanced. Their spacecraft, it's not like ours. It's not like a big jet or an actual, American spacecraft or something like that, where it's making all this noise and you can see it. They're very quiet. They have the ability to go invisible. And a lot of people believe that it's a vortex, which basically, I guess if I can describe it in any other way, it would be like an airport. It's a hub. And that's part of the reason why there's so much activity in the Mount Shasta area, especially through the years. And when you actually go through and you see all the reports, you kind of feel that way. I mean, it's okay if one person says, hey, I saw something weird, but continuously over the years, over, the decades, you start to feel like something's going on here. It's not just one person, it's not just two people, and these are not people that are interconnected with each other. So it's a vortex, and there's a lot of disappearances that happen there. It's an active hotspot for disappearances. People just disappear. You can't find them. Now, Mount Shasta is very big, so that's I know a naysayer would say, well, it's a huge place. Yes, but I guess people have disappeared not doing a mountain climb or just doing the normal things that a person would do, and all of a sudden, that particular person is gone. So they believe that the Lemurians used the crystals to store information, also to store energy, give inner energy force to these crystals, also to communicate with each other. And like I said before, there's a huge network of people that really study crystals, that really believe in the healing properties of crystals. I don't have that much. I haven't really studied it that much. I just know I love them. And but even though I love them, I don't have anything in excess. But I would have to look into, that part, if it does have healing properties and how much. And I would think that, or at least I would want to believe that if that was possible, that I'd probably want my crystals from there. I would probably want my crystals from the closest portion of Mount Shasta that I can get, kind of like my rock. So now I'm going to keep my rock very close to my heart and close to myself because, this has come directly from that area. So, yeah. So, also, Lemurians were the first galactic beings to set foot on planet Earth. Like I said, they're all about pure love, light, and they vibrate at the highest frequency. So, these are frequencies that even us as humans, we're still struggling with ourselves. We're still struggling to become more perfect and to have more enlightenment within our own hearts and our own soul and our own body. But the Lemurians already had that, and whether that took them time, we won't know because we don't have an opportunity to speak with them. It's said that some humans are descendants of the Lemurians. But yeah, so they had that galactic war, like I said, with Atlantis, and that was over the fact that Atlantis wanted to make slaves, capture, basically make slaves and rule anyone who was below them. Because, they were like the Lemurians also, where those two civilizations, they were on a higher frequency. So if you were a lower being, then that's what they wanted to happen. So so the one thing I learned about the Lemurians that really just kind of stands out, and not only does it stand out to me, but it really makes me understand and appreciate and just really love that whole area 10 times more, is just the fact that they they want to do what's best for Mother Earth. Not only did they want to do what's best for Mother Earth and humanity at that time, but they went to war for that. They lost their continent for that because them being in Mount Shasta, they didn't start off in Mount Shasta. That's where they went when after this war they had with Atlantis, when everything, had been destroyed so much, they decided not all of them, but some of them went back to their different planets, but the others decided that they were going to stay, they were going to preserve information, and they were also going to wait until Mother Earth was back on the frequency that they would prefer it to be. But in the meantime, they were going to have their their civilization underneath. So when you think, or when I think, as a person who's actually been to this area and been to this area prior to learning about this, when I think of that whole entire area, the whole Mount Shasta area, all of the places, all of the little cities around it, I feel that love. And I think if you were to go there, you would feel that energy. You'd have to actually be a part of it to feel it. You'd actually have to be there. But it is a different atmosphere. People are different. And I believe that some of that has seeped out and it is slowly, seeping back into reality. And that's really something I myself would love to explore more, love to explore the different frequencies and really understand what frequencies possibly the Lemurians were on, what frequencies a human, or a regular human, what frequencies we can actually allow ourselves to be on. I mean, it's really interesting, and like I said, it's just a beautiful place. It's a beautiful story associated with it. Next time I go, I know I'm definitely going to go to all the little quaint stores and take a look at the crystals and things like that. And for me, I want to know where the crystal actually came from, especially being that a part of their civilization is embedded, so to speak, in crystals. It's really important to them. The crystals is a part of who they are. I'd really like to just sort of navigate those different stories and learn more about the Lemurians. So that's what I just wanted to do for my first non-crime podcast. Just kind of wanted to touch all over about that. And like I said, it's kind of dear to my heart since I've been there a couple of times, and the Mount Shasta area. And hopefully I'll be able to find a really cool picture or something like that to go with this particular episode. I'll probably, snatch it off a family member's Facebook. I shouldn't say that, but I probably will, because like I said, I know people in that area, and seeing that mountain is something I see constantly. And then having that dream that I have where I went like under the earth, to another dimension. And that's another part. I don't think I explained that well with the dream. I knew I was underground in the dream. How did I know I was underground? I don't know, but I knew that wherever I was under some sort of ground. I was underground, and I was there with these beings who were not humans. And like I said, they didn't harm me or hurt me. I was actually more in like a shopping area for them. And that's what was so weird about it. It was literally almost like a mall. It was like a mall. So that dream also prompted me to want to do this particular episode. So yeah, that's it about the Lemurians. If you want to hear more stories, I'm going to work on a bunch of more stories over the next coming weeks. I'm going to try to fit in more stories like this that are just fun and different about, different places in the United States. I'm going to definitely stay within, my true crime part of the podcast, because I'm all about true crime, just a complete junkie when it comes to true crime. But if you would, please, please, please like and subscribe. That just kind of helps me. It's going to help me kind of move up as time goes on. Like I said, this is just my third try, but I'm going to keep on trying. I'm not going to stop at just 3. I'm not like that. But yeah, so like and subscribe. That will help me a lot. And thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.